Hello everyone, this is Zoltar and welcome back to Offworld Trading Company. It's time to continue our expansive campaign, but before we jump into that, I figured I'd offer a little explanation to what happened at the end of last match, because I was quite confused, I'll be honest. Some of you may have noticed that I didn't really understand what had happened there. So, thankfully we were very fortunate. I posted about my confusion online, and I got a response that informed me that what actually happened at the end of the last game was that food prices had gone so high and life support had gone so high that basically the neutral colony on the map could no longer be supported. And so everybody lost because of that, because there was nobody left at the neutral colony. And so that offered at least a little bit of an explanation to what happened. We didn't get bought out. We just failed entirely as a colony together. So at least the AI didn't manage to pick up the teleportation perk we were fighting for either. And we can just get on with the campaign being further informed about that failure. Now, what we're looking at this time, you might notice that the mission select is going to look a little bit different this time because we didn't get a whole lot of points for that last mission with our complete and utter failure. So we're in third now instead of being tied for first like we usually have been. So we will notice that there are already players assigned to the missions that are available. We've got 2 missions available. One of them will give us 21 income, a free chemical lab, and it has an assigned player beta stock core. Now they're in first right now, and they have some pretty significant bonuses as well. They've got robotic and expansive headquarters. They have a free chemical lab, a free geothermal plant, which is huge, energy vault, and a free goon squad. That's pretty scary. And then the other mission has been selected by Gamma Espionage Corp. They have Scavenger and Extra Claim, very similar to us with our Expansive and Extra Claim, and then they also have a free electrolysis reactor, a free electronics factory, an EMP, and an underground nuke, so that's not going to be any fun to deal with either. So both of these are actually going to be pretty similar. Gamma Espionage Corps may actually be the better one because their bonuses don't include being able to pick between headquarters. However, an interesting thing to note is that while we may get hit by an EMP and an underground nuke if we take on Gamma Espionage Corps, that's all that's coming at us because this scenario allows no black market, which may allow us to exploit our expansive corporation very effectively in that we won't have to worry about any scavengers constantly throwing things at us like they were last mission. So, looking at these two, this one allows no engineering labs, still beneficial for us because we don't have engineering labs. But this one might be the better one to go with just to take advantage of our natural abilities as a colony. So I think we're going to go with the 13 income and the virtual reality perk. Now this helps us decide how we're going to spend our funds this time because the virtual reality perk doubles our income from the pleasure dome, if I'm remembering correctly. And we don't have access to the pleasure dome yet, but we can go ahead and purchase access to the pleasure dome, hire a pleasure dome manager, and that guarantees that if we pick up this perk, we will be able to use it effectively. Keeping that in mind, that means we're going to want to develop neutral colonies if this is going to be part of our game plan going forward. So we're going to want things like food and oxygen to be cheap. And so, keeping that in mind, we're probably going to actually upgrade our water pump so that we can get in plenty of water, leave extra space open for electrolysis reactors and hydroponic farms. This also leaves us with plenty of funds and income so that if an off-world market becomes available to us, we will be able to grab it up because that's huge in all of these games. That should just about do it. Let's see if we can do a little bit better at this mission. Okay, what do we got? Ooh, that makes me want to found like right now. That looks like a pretty decent spot. Let's check around a little bit more. Not seeing anything noteworthy. So let's just throw down. Let's go. I actually like right here. I like that spot quite a lot. This spot is huge. 3.2 resources off of this spot alone without any adjacency bonuses yet. That is absolutely incredible. Especially because it's aluminum plus iron, and we'll get adjacency bonuses on both of them from the extra metal mines we're going to put down. It's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about that, and we'll go ahead and throw down some steel mills as well. And here, as you can see, because of where we planted, we have plenty of aluminum. We already started with 20 glass. So we may as well just go ahead and upgrade, especially as there's no black market to be spending stuff on.
To the infrastructure boost you approved. We'll be able to ship more industries.
We can get a bit silly here. I think we're going to do this. This will provide us with all kinds of aluminum and iron for the entire duration of the match. And we're going to be a jerk. Throw water right here on this high water with plenty next to it that this guy probably wants. That's going to upset him. Totally fine with that. And we need to start looking at popping into glass, as our steel production is just fine for the time being. So maybe what we're going to do with the rest of our materials is get down a solar plant if we can. There's not that many good spots for solar on this map up there, but thankfully there's one over here. So we'll probably try and get a solar down, maybe one more steel mill, and then start worrying about glass. That sounds just fine to me.
Freelance pirates are auctioning their services.
Pirates. Do we want pirates? We probably don't care very much, but we don't want to let them go for 1,000. What's worth noting is this high carbon, and carbon is very expensive right now. So if we can steal quite a bit of carbon with these pirates, that's going to slow down our scavenger friend and provide us with a fair amount of income. So we'll push it just a little higher here. Just a little higher. Pirates won't hurt us too much if we needed to let them go because of where we're positioned. But that doesn't mean we should just let everybody else benefit from them.
I hate those filthy.
Bam, carbon. Already. We'll store up a little bit of that and see what happens with it. Our scavenger's going to have a little bit of trouble, hopefully, if we cut off his carbon source. So now we're just looking. We need to make enough money off of our steel and our iron to plop down a solar panel. Where is that EMP? Probably right on top of us. Yep, that is a concern, but that's okay. We already have so much metal that we don't really have to care all that much. Sell off a little aluminum here. And we should probably go ahead and just upgrade again. We also want to be on the lookout for a good place to mutiny. We might mutiny this carbon after we're done with this piracy here. Got hit by an underground nuke. Where was that? Was that here? That's okay. Trace iron left. That's not fun, but we'll be able to deal with it, hopefully. Let's go ahead and upgrade and start that glass production. Spread it out a little bit, make it kind of hard to EMP us. There we go. And we want to make sure we've established a little bit of silicon to come in. Now, here's one interesting thing about playing Expansive. I'm actually going to pause for a second to explain this. A lot of people would see this spot and this spot for silicon and immediately go here. This is what I see all the time in multiplayer because this one's bigger, right? There's more silicon here. You'll be bringing in silicon faster, and that is a good point. But there's only one silicon tile here, and the adjacency bonuses in this game are huge. It's like, yes, you can drop silicon here. You will get more silicon from this location. But will that be all the silicon you need, is the question. And the answer is probably not. Quite frankly, you probably will need more silicon than just this one tile if you're planning on getting into glass or electronics, and in particular glass. So while that tile is valuable, you need to consider the possibility that if you're going to take two tiles, you really want them to be next to each other. And so this little trio is fantastic because if I want silicon, I will just drop 3 quarries right here, and each of them will have 100% bonus, so it's significantly better than spreading out to various higher silicon points throughout the map. And let's get back to the game. Keep selling off some steel. We need to keep 120. That's important to keep in mind. But we don't need to have it all right now because steel is producing a little bit faster than our aluminum is. As you can see, our iron is actually really suffering right now, but that'll fix itself once this is unfrozen. Shortage on electronics. That's very nice. So we can actually sell off, all that said, quite a bit of steel and still have more than enough for when we need to upgrade, which we'll probably go ahead and wait on glass for this time. We can sell quite a lot of steel. We'll drop one more of our power nodes. That'll be our last claim for now, and now we're basically just playing the waiting game. Sell off our electronics as we just hit an electronics shortage. We're watching this carbon price also. Keep an eye on this. I don't think our pirates have run out at this point. Okay, that's fine. But we want to be watching this, see how it keeps rising. If it ever starts going down, we want to just go ahead and sell off our carbon storage that we've got. question is, do we wait on upgrading for the glass? I'm actually thinking maybe not. Oh, new claim? But maybe we will. Maybe we'll save this money to pay off a little debt. Probably not. How high are they going to go? If we get it for 10, I'm totally fine with that. We can support that much debt right now, I think. Let's go ahead and spend this money. Instead of paying off the debt directly, though, to increase our stock price, make sure it stays plenty high, what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade, which should beef our stock price up fairly significantly. You can see it rising very quickly right now due to that upgrade. So that's how we're going to choose to spend our money, and we can just keep floating this debt as long as we're pretty solid on our stock price. Aluminum is shorting. That's pretty fantastic for us. Sell off some of those electronics we just picked up, and make sure we are auto-supplying our oxygen. Man, we're getting some fortunate shortages here. Hopefully this won't take too long. Just go ahead and keep selling off stuff for the time being. We can actually afford an upgrade now, but we'll just wait. We'll be a little bit more patient on this one while we get up some life support, keeping in mind that we have a pleasure dome we're probably going to want to put down. Let's go ahead, get some farms down over there. Get one more silicon quarry here. That'll provide us a very nice little boost. Keep selling off glass until we're pretty sure what we want to do. And let's get some electrolysis reactors down and make sure that we've established enough water to support all of this. I don't know why I'm worrying about spreading out the buildings at this point now that I think all the black market stuff is used up, but it's a good habit to be in regardless. Yes, I need more claims. We'll just wait on the glass and then upgrade. I'm going to be a little lazy about it right now. We have a pretty significant lead. Unfortunately, we can't quite go off-world because we don't have an off-world market, but hopefully we'll be able to just abuse this glass price real hard.
Each new citizen, our domination grows.
And we have no more need for aluminum, as far as I know, for the time being. Very, very little need for it, at least. So we're going to drop Pleasure Dome. We'll go ahead and put it here. We don't need this aluminum tile. That's fine.
Robotic colony expanded.
And now we're just kind of playing a waiting game. We're going to wait and get enough money to buy both these guys out. Not worrying about our debt too much once again because our stock price is totally fine. And the primary purpose of debt seems to be to drive down your stock price. Let's get this water established like we wanted to. That'll be a nice boost to our water. And let's just keep selling stuff and head to the end of the game. This one went a lot easier than last time because we weren't constantly getting EMP'd. We want this, obviously. This is the patent we're going for in the campaign right now. Plus 100% profit from Pleasure Domes. You guys can see I wasn't lying about that. And we can't make silicon, we can't make chemicals. We can mine up carbon if there's a good spot for it left on the map. And let's actually go ahead and use that mutiny like we were saying we wanted to. We'll go ahead and grab up these two spots. That'll make it harder for Mr. Scavenger to get some nice bonuses going on his carbon mining. And we'll just sell off a lot of stuff right now. Food's tanking. Let's just stop our food production then. Because, you know, there's no point in converting one water into one food if your water can sell for way more. That's just basic math. Chemicals are skyrocketing. Nothing to do about that. Not our problem. And let's get to buying some stock. Single player game, there's no wait time for buying stock, which is kind of convenient when you can just crush through the computers. Alright, nice. That was an expansion. That's going to beef up the price on aluminum and steel. Well, not steel because it was scavenger, but aluminum. Which is one thing to keep in mind. Whenever there's an expansion like that, they probably purchased some of the materials, and it's quite likely that stuff like aluminum, steel, carbon, and glass will spike a bit in response. Just a good thing to watch out for. What are we looking at? 26,000. We're starting to creep closer. We have a lot of purchasing to do, but only 6 more stock before we've cleaned up this game. Hopefully, this one's looking pretty over. We can go ahead and use 3 more claims on something, I suppose. Glass is going to be our best bet for the time being. We will just be super stupid and put them all right here to give this middle one a massive bonus. because we don't have to care about black market this game. And I'm just being impatient now, and I want this mission to be over so we can get on to the next one that hopefully will be a little bit more interesting. I'm starting to think that we need to start beefing up the difficulty even more in single player. Last mission wasn't fun, but that was primarily due to the fact that it was a dust storm, and there was a mechanic we didn't know existed. Okay, we can do the buyout now, but we don't really need to, so we'll just wait. 26,000 to go. Let's get that glass rolling in and get this mission cleaned up. I think we'll go ahead and do 2 missions on this video because this one was fairly short and simple. Who do I want first? I don't really care. Yeah, sure, I'll take nanotech. Nanotech is actually an incredible patent, to my mind, that most people just completely ignore. Like, nanotech will pop up and it'll be like, 2,000 for nanotech, and I'll be like, give me some of that, and nobody else bids, and I'm just like, okay. That means that over a multiplayer game, I can just change what I want to do as a colony over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I can respond to the market faster and more easily than you can because I don't have to pay for my buildings every time. Now, he picked that up. That's actually totally okay because it's just going to increase his debt and make his stock price go down. Oxygen too expensive. Even with our electrolysis running, oxygen was too expensive. We'll need to keep that in mind. But as you can see, this time we had 10 population, 10 jobs. Far better than last time where everybody died off or left. I'm not sure which the developers want you to think of it as. Easy game. We can check stats real quick. Why not? Let's look at resources. What did I sell a lot of? Oh, look, it was glass, it was steel, it was aluminum. Kind of exactly like we expected. Nothing too surprising there. And what was everybody else doing? Let's see what they were into that didn't work out for them. Okay. Gamma Espionage Corps. That, I believe, was our robots. Was going for electronics, very naturally. Didn't really go so hot for him. He was also selling quite a bit of water, oxygen, and fuel, which just never spiked as high as glass was going to, or as steel was going to, because you don't need your life support, a whole lot of it, until you've already expanded using up the steel, glass, carbon, what have you. And then, of course, the robot themselves were using electronics for life support, effectively. And weren't going to be consuming water, oxygen, and fuel in the first place, or food. So, it's just, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a standard computer play, one would think, and frankly, one you see a lot in multiplayer as well. Here we've got trying to sell off some aluminum. That actually went okay for him. He made a bit of a profit on that. But he lost it all purchasing steel. A lot of people just don't make enough steel to support themselves. Sold quite a lot of silicon, though, which we were using, quite frankly, to turn into glass, which might have served him a bit better. Let's get to the next mission. Catching up a bit, still falling behind because Beta Stock Corps kept doing quite a good job, but we are at least ahead of Gamma Espionage Corps now, and we picked up, what was it, the virtual reality bonus, so we'll need to keep an eye on that throughout all our games. Thankfully, we got an Offworld Market. That makes everything so much easier. Let's go ahead and grab that, and let's check and see what missions we have available to us. We can get a free geothermal plant. That sounds pretty nice. Or we can get some dynamite, which is also pretty solid. Love dynamiting scientist stuff. Makes them mad. And there's no patent lab here, so I think we may lean this direction, partially because we go after the first place player, and hopefully we can catch up a little bit faster that way. Even though it's difficult, with any luck we'll be able to pull it off and it won't be too much of a problem. Now, I have an option here. I have quite a few options left, despite having very little money. So we need to think, do we want to commit hard to our solar power? Or do we want the ability to go wind just in case? I'm leaning, I like the idea of committing to the course we've already set. I really prefer the idea of going all in on what we're doing, rather than ending up in too many things and not able to do any of them well enough to actually secure wins. So I think we're going to stick with some solar power. We don't really need to upgrade our quarries or metal mines anymore, and I'm not too worried about an ice condenser, because we do have a slightly upgraded water pump. So let's jump into this mission. We're fighting at least Beta Stock Corps for dynamite, income, and no patent labs will be available, which is just fine for us because we can't use them anyway.
Low levels of carbon found. Low levels of water found.
This is, there we go. Here's some stuff. Probably a lot of water over here. We'll go ahead and reveal it. This is probably carbon? Ah, it's iron. Okay, that works just fine.
Medium levels of iron found.
Usually you find carbon in craters for whatever reason. I'm sure that the developers have a perfectly good reason for that that I just don't know.
High levels of carbon found.
Ooh, that is a lot of carbon. Now I wish we were scavenger right now. Oh man, I'm not seeing a good place to settle. So we're kind of just taking it easy on that for the time being. Really want to find a slightly better source of aluminum before we commit to any location. But that is not working out at all right now. I don't know if there will be a better source of aluminum. We might have to commit some other direction. So let's instead, we're just going to drop down. Oh, that's real not good. That's real not good. They took our spot that we wanted. We're just going to land right next to them. We're going to be that guy. And let's guarantee we've got access to enough. They are fighting over that spot already. Let's go ahead and take this close iron, just in case. Because I do not see a lot of other iron on the map. I'm going to grab up both of those. We'll actually... Okay, we did get both of those. We got the aluminum. That's good, that's good. Let's go ahead and get a steel mill down and another steel mill down. And we can't afford to expand yet because we didn't get a whole lot of aluminum at the start. We may be looking to sell this iron for the time being. And we will actually also... Now, we'll hold on to the mutiny. We'll hold it for now. Let's watch what happens with power in particular. We're using, by the way, our quantity of power at this point to not build up debt while we don't have any power up for the time being. Let's see, how much are we getting? I think we're still barely positive. Yeah, we're fine here because our steel mills make so much. So we can keep making that iron into steel, and that's totally acceptable.
With each
Now we upgrade for free.
Our domination grows.
Need to start looking, can get some solar panels down up here. There is a little more iron available, so we don't need to worry too much. This is so early, this might actually be real good. Yeah, we'll kick it up still. Okay, I'm actually okay with that. That's not a patent I actually enjoy all that much because power so frequently goes down to costing $1, but it's so early in the game, we haven't seen any significant power spike yet. Power doesn't cost a lot now, but it will probably go up as people keep expanding. And so that could end up being very valuable. Grab a claim, sell off some of our electronics, keep selling off steel. We want to get another steel mill down. And maybe, okay, we already did add the other aluminum mine on. Aluminum is pretty rare on the map. There's a little here, which actually, let's just be a mega jerk. Take that. That way there's just this one and then all of our aluminum coming in for the time being. They're going to grab up that iron, that's okay. We have enough iron coming in to power the 3 steel mills we have, so we'll call that good on iron for the time being. Let's grab up some oxygen while it's shorted. This is something I'm trying to do better. See this short coming, and then buy it all up so I can sell it in a little bit. Let's see, we've got a little carbon here. We have a lot of carbon down there. Carbon's probably not going to be an issue. We should look out for silicon. No, we have 3 claims left. Let's see how easy it is to get silicon. Not too hard, but not too easy either. So we'll grab some of that right now and throw down a couple of glass factories. Glass furnaces, I suppose. Let's get that other one down. There we go. And we can actually afford to upgrade right away if we so desire, but we're not going to because we're going to hit up the black market first. Got power rolling in from here. 1 steel mill, 1 electrolysis reactor, that's good. Sell off this oxygen we purchased ahead of that shortage. And now we'll go ahead and upgrade.
Our domination grows.
Get some more glass down. We're against an expansive colony. He's going to want plenty of glass like we do. So hopefully that glass production will serve us quite well. And let's make sure we get plenty of silicon rolling in. And now we need to start thinking about exactly what we want to do with the rest of the game. I'm thinking, since we have access to the Offworld Market, what we want to do is secure some water to make sure that our life support will be just fine. We may actually just grab these 3 spots right here.
New package up for auction. Bidding will begin at...
What do we got? Additional elemental quarry production. We can fight them for that a little bit. We have enough stock to kind of sink a little bit of debt. But I don't really care about it enough to take on anymore, honestly. It's just not that worth it to me.
Sold.
Let's make sure these are auto-supplying because glass is going to stay just fine, even with the ridiculous cost of oxygen right now, quite frankly. Glass shortage coming in. Good timing on that. Let's buy out what we can right now.
The black market is online.
There we go. That's a little better. Sell off some aluminum, hit the black market, get an EMP, and wait for this price to stop going up. Then we'll sell off a whole lot and upgrade. We can go ahead and upgrade now.
With this new expansion, we have increased our potential production rates by a lot.
Now we want to start getting down some serious life support. Some farms. Sell off that glass. Get some electrolysis reactors down. We'll go ahead and put a goon squad here. And we want to get down a pleasure dome at the first opportunity. So we'll just upgrade again in just a moment here. We can go ahead and let resources trickle in. We're making all of those pretty quickly. And we'll sell off some of our water because water was getting up there quite a bit. We'll want to try and keep water, oxygen, and food all pretty cheap. And let's go ahead and get some power down. We reduced power consumption. Power isn't going out of control at all.
With each new citizen, our domination grows.
But we want to be safe just in case things get a little weird.
The black market is online.
Okay, what do we want to do with black market? Let's take another claim. That makes it harder for everybody else to catch up to us. We are completely destroying them when it comes to upgrading. Our stock is doing just fine despite our debt. So we'll just keep continuing down this path. Let's go ahead and get that pleasure dome down.
Baltic colony expanded.
Keep selling off our oxygen, our water, keep those prices low. Might want to get down a little more electrolysis reactors. Maybe just one more right there. Keep selling the glass. Actually, we need to start storing up glass and steel because we need to get a whole lot of electronics. What do we got? Where was that? Okay, not a big deal. We can just repair that without too many problems. That's only going to cost us 10 steel, maybe 5 steel for a repair. I think it's half. Oh, meant to start saving that. Oh well, not too big a deal. Basically, we're going to need plenty of glass and steel or money in order to construct this off-world market.
The black market is online.
3,000. New land is available for auction. Bidding will begin at...
You plot. Do I care? Do I care about this carbon? Probably not. I like to use auctions as a time to kind of think about what I'm going to do. They're a fantastic time for that when you don't have to pause. No pausing in multiplayer, so I like to avoid it in single player when I can. They can fight over this all they want for all I care.
10,000.
Fuel's pretty cheap, which means...
Sold.
Fuel being as cheap as it is, I want to start spreading out my buildings just a little more when possible. We need some more goon squads, actually. That's what we really need. We want to get one on the Pleasure Dome. We're going to want one on our off-world trading, on our off-world market. When we're able to get that up. We can have 2 of those, by the way, I think. So that's definitely what we'll want to do. And then let's take a look. Usually food, water, and oxygen can all end up pretty expensive off-world. And as you can see, the off-world price for oxygen is absolutely insane. So we're going to get down a few more electrolysis reactors. We're going to put them over here so they can't get knocked out so easily because I'm not worried about the fuel cost at all right now. And we'll use the off-world market to just kind of propel ourselves to victory at this point. I'm not going to worry about getting a second one up. I don't think it's going to be necessary And there's no reason to waste time doing it, in my opinion. We will take this goon squad and pop it down right there. Make sure we stay protected. Pleasure Dome's doing a pretty good job right now, raking in 100 a second. That is not bad at all for a single tile. It doesn't compare to glass, but nothing ever does for whatever reason. Not sure I like that game design. Glass may need to be balanced a little bit better, in my opinion. I win most of my games entirely off of it. This mutiny's still running. After the mutiny's over, we'll probably just drop an EMP and ruin the rest of his day. Power has shot up a little bit, but we are producing more than enough of it just off of our 2 claims with solar panels on them. So that's absolutely fine. And it's time to begin the purchasing and make sure that we are sending... do we want to... Yeah, let's buy up some oxygen and actually just send that. That is totally fine in my opinion. Selling fuel is not going to do anything for us. Let's sell off steel.
The black market
More
is
oxygen.
online.
There we go. That's better. Let's get that EMP down here. Okay, he defended his steel mill. Don't care. And over here, we can power surge. Oh, we got lucky there. Bounced in a pretty nice direction. Only missed 1 tile. That's very, very nice. Usually you're not quite that fortunate when it comes to power surges. Oxygen's just going to keep getting more expensive. So we need to be on the lookout for those electrolysis reactors. We'll take this. End the game faster? Why not? I'm not worried about dead at this point. Yeah, come on. Somebody else. No? Fine. And as you can see, somebody did target us. I believe I saw defended pop up here somewhere. So they targeted somewhere nearby if that was the case. Make sure we are auto-supplying all of our electrolysis reactors.
Look at all the money.
And we will also auto-supply food because it is currently shorted. And so its price is going to keep going up, even though water's price is pretty insane right now. We need to start looking at what we can do about the price of water. One option is to blow up a couple of glass factories, but I don't think we need to do that. We can just get a new claim, but I don't think we need to actually do any of that either. We should just end the game. Got to be on the lookout for that in Offworld. It's pretty easy to miss the fact that you can kind of just start ending the game. And we only need, 7 times 13 plus a lot. That's not too much more left. I don't feel like doing the math. Our Pleasure Dome did get mutinied, which is sad, but what you gonna do about it? Just a little bit more to go. Sell off that glass, will that do it? Not quite. Sell off the food and the oxygen. And the food and the oxygen, and we've got more than enough now. Water and oxygen got too expensive, but we still did okay off the Pleasure Dome, so I'm not too worried about that. Life support always gets expensive when you expand quite that fast. So it's a very nice thing to move into once you've done all your expanding, in my opinion, because suddenly you're selling instead of buying, and you've driven the price way up. So let's take a look at some stats before we wrap this up. We're going to check once again, glass is insane. Selling Offworld just propelled us to victory even faster than last time. That's why Offworld markets are so good. We made more Offworld than we did from buying and selling Onworld with only 2 launches. That's just so ridiculous. I actually kind of hate that about this game, and I hope it gets tuned a little bit better as time goes on. I love the idea of unlocking access to a second market with different rules than the ones you're currently obeying on the world. It can kind of help push the game to the end, even if the on-world market starts stagnating. But right now, the off-world market is so insanely powerful, you can never pass it up. Never can you afford to not throw down off-world markets if you start even seeing a hint of the late game, because you will just get overwhelmed so quickly by them. And it turns the game into a bit of a race to the off-world market rather than an actual competition between buying and selling resources. Thankfully, this is something that could be fairly easily tuned, and maybe it's how the developers intend it. Only time will tell, but for now, that'll show you the power of the off-world market. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching, and I will see you next time.